All right, guys. So, gonna talk about this beef, Ben versus George, mainly because I've already covered all the crypto news for today, including all the meme coin stuff. Yeah, go bonk, go snack. But either ways, this new beef is kind of interesting. I think most of you know where I fall on this, but basically, George basically contacted a smaller crypto channel, not mine obviously, but a smaller crypto channel. They had this like crypto trading wars thing. It's pretty popular. And then he contacted TJ, Ben's old nemesis or old friend that is now a nemesis. And he was like, hey, you guys had the traders, you guys had the setup. Let's do this as a collaboration on my secondary channel and see how big it can go. But George did actually get the okay from, like the crypto, like the smaller channel. They talked about it for a couple of hours, pretty happy about it. Like, I don't know if the other guy was like really mad inside or something, but on the outside, at least to George, he's like, yeah, go ahead and do it. We're okay. I'm not a huge fan of, essentially like you taking someone's idea completely and replicating it on a bigger channel. Obviously that could have detrimental effects on the small channel, or it could actually bring to light what the small channel is doing, and it could actually help them grow. But anyways, the smaller channel wanted to grow the concept itself. That's fine, friendly competition. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I can't really be too mad at George for doing, because people take other people's ideas all the time in crypto. I'm sure like some people have told me that other channels watch me for news. I don't really watch other channels that much, but realistically, I get a lot of my news from like Cointelegraph, Crypto Panic, CoinDesk, and other BTC sites. So I can't really say like, oh, you can't take someone's idea, you can't take someone else's news. We just report on stuff, we create our own content. It's all good and great. I'm not really that upset when people like take an idea or something like that, or take a concept. That's not a big deal in crypto. It is what it is. It is crypto. And yes, like saying to a smaller channel, like, hey, I'm going to take your idea, you can move to my channel, but if you don't, I'm going to do it anyways. Yeah, I can see how that would rub people the wrong way, but to me in crypto, it's not that big of a deal. It's not something you can copyright or patent or something like that. So I think you're okay. Now, and then Ben just went on this like unhinged rant about how like George is like a complete scammer now, which I find like just completely crazy. And a lot of the times, like when you're doing these rants and you're accusing people of these things, you got to make sure it doesn't bounce back on yourself, which a lot of it does. He was accusing, like George of like shilling like crap coins and taking advantage of people, which Ben, like the thing is he did that for years. I think he stopped a few years ago, but he was like shilling all coins and small altcoins, and people were buying them, and he's essentially dumping on some of his buyers. He actually created his own coin, and in my opinion, all YouTuber coins are basically made for that specific purpose. So I don't think like he's kind of like, he was at least that, what he's accusing George of right now. And I don't think, I'm sure George does take sponsorships. I haven't really watched Cryptos R Us, but I don't think he was quite as bad as Ben was a couple of years ago. And remember, like Ben actually sued Atozy for accusing him of this. And as soon as Atozy said, I'm defending myself, Ben dropped the lawsuit, which means, in my opinion, that generally means the lawsuit's not like kind of meritless, honestly. Because if you actually had a case, you would actually push the lawsuit and maybe even win the lawsuit. But obviously, like if you're just doing it to like scare people off, because you're basically saying you can't pay the lawyer costs, so you'd rather settle with me for X amount of money, and have an apology to me. And then Atozy never really took that video down, because obviously he didn't lose the lawsuit. There was no settlement. He basically just straight up won the lawsuit, because Ben basically dismissed it on his own volition. So the whole thing about accusing like bigger channel bullying smaller channels, I mean, he did it right there. He actually tried to use a legal tactic to do it right there as well. So the thing is, like, when you accuse other people of doing things, you really do got to be careful it doesn't bounce back, and like with yourself. And the thing about like him saying like Tiffany Fong and all these other people, like, oh, you were just like laughing at me during my meltdown, and like when I was getting arrested, you were tweeting about me and it was all over the place. Bro, that's your own fault, man. You like literally live stream your arrest, and you basically like posted a picture of you and your side chick at that party after you gave a tearful, after you gave like a tearful, like, I'm sorry to the whole world, with your wife standing by saying how you were so sorry, like everything happened this way. Like, you realize you didn't have to do any of that, and you could have just kept it kind of private. You literally did that to actually get like interaction on social media. So that's really no one's fault but your own. You didn't have to do any of that. No one forced you to live stream your own arrest. Like, no one forced you to live stream your own arrest. No one forced you to post pics of that party. You could have just kept quiet, and like this would have kind of all went away, and maybe more people would be on your side in that. But you kind of exposed that and brought that up on yourself and your own family. So you can't really say like people took advantage of you just for social media content and like social media interaction. You kind of did that yourself, man. And realistically, yeah, like that part of the rant, that was like completely insane, basically, because a lot of the stuff he actually brought on himself, and it's no one's fault except for his own. And a lot of the stuff that they accuse other people, it kind of bounces back on what he's done in the past as well. Is George or me or any of these or any crypto like advocate completely clean? I mean, sure, we've all taken some sponsorships. For my part, I've disclosed all my sponsorships like before the video where I took sponsorships, and I think I've only taken 2 like overall in the years. I think those videos, I think one of the videos is still up there. The other one, like I deleted because of some like YouTube policy thing. But the thing is, Ben basically like the accusations that he threw out didn't really look too well on him. And I don't think people are really going for it anyways. And I think most people will actually be on George's side. I think it boils down to like 2 things. Because Ben actually made a video with George like just a couple of days before that. And they were like all buddy. And like Ben says like the Crypto Keeper, which is the smaller channel I referenced earlier, was actually one of his like close compadres. I think like a lot of crypto influencers, myself actually is excluded from this, like are actually like associates. They're not like best buddies or anything. They kind of know of each other. And George actually like talked to Crypto Keeper about this beforehand. He said like, he said like, like he just stole Crypto Keeper's content and now he's like threatening the smaller channel. George is not actually threatening to take his channel out. He is copying him. Yes. Like I said, I don't seriously like that, but I don't really have too much complaints about it. And I think what this all boils down to is George actually like reaching out to TJ and agreeing to work with TJ. And if you actually watch Ben's video, a lot of it, especially towards the beginning and towards the end, was all dedicated to like, oh, if anyone works with TJ, they are scammers and I will expose them for it. I think all of you know Ben's relationship with Discover Crypto. George probably doesn't care about that at all. That's like Ben's personal business, and George probably just sees this as a good business opportunity to actually expand. If TJ reached out to me with Discover Crypto wanted to do something, I probably would say yes as well, because it would be a good collaboration. I mean, we're making like these deals from like a business perspective. We don't really care about the drama between Bitboy and TJ. You might care about it, but we personally don't. If you think it's a good deal for us, we'll probably try to plug all the holes so that guy can't screw us, obviously. But we will take advantage of what his audience has to offer. I think Ben also wants to recapture a lot of that audience from Discover Crypto, and they still have like a little bit of an audience left, and he doesn't want another YouTuber actually moving in on that audience as well. That part I can understand, but the unhinged rant was completely kind of out of line, and I think like he probably turned more people against him than like got people on his side towards that crypto. Because let's not make a mistake, like Cryptos Are Us, George, I think is actually more popular than Ben at this point. You can look at like how many views per video those guys get. Not so much like how many subscribers, but how many views they get per video. And George easily beats Ben per video at this point, right? So realistically, realistically, like I don't think Ben wants TJ getting in front of George's audience. I think that's definitely part of it at this point, because, that's a lot of people that would actually hear the story from TJ's side, and not a lot of people actually has heard the story from TJ's side. I, for one, have not really heard the story from TJ's side, and essentially, like, I think he wants basically PR on his side to keep the pressure up on Discover Crypto. And if the other side kind of gets heard, then that's actually bad for him. So I can understand his outburst, but I don't really think it's going to do anything. It's definitely not going to change George's mind. Like I said, like I think a lot of other crypto channels, if like Discover Crypto, even though their audience is much shrunk at this point, like said, hey, we want to do a collab, I don't think like we'd actually disagree, because from a business standpoint, that kind of makes sense for us. In terms of like our audience, if like any other large YouTuber wanted to do a collab, I would definitely consider it, because, it's good for my business. And that's just how these things actually work. We're always looking to expand our own business. We're also looking to expand our own profitability. We're looking for ways to reach out to, an audience that we don't have. Like if I look at my statistics, about 75% of my views come from people that are already subscribed to my channel. So the outreach isn't that big. And I'm guessing a lot of other channels are the same because each video tends to get about the same amount of views. So it's the same people watching over and over. And we need to get out more to that 25% out there and grab more people basically. So it's just a good business decision for, George and others to actually do collabs with other YouTubers, basically. So, yeah, I'm definitely more on George's side on this one. Like I said, not a huge fan of just like swiping someone's idea, obviously, but he did actually talk to the guy beforehand, and the guy seemed to be okay with it, as far as we know. And like the guy didn't really post anything on his channel about George like taking his idea or anything. It was like Ben that just came out. So I'm more on George's side, obviously. I think the unhinged rant didn't really do him any favors, and I think like Ben Armstrong like kind of needs to take a chill pill and just kind of like concentrate on his crypto for right now instead of like trying to like challenge people to, challenge people to fights or pick fights with people. Unless, of course, he wants to prove it in the octagon in Mortal Kombat, then I'm all for the pay-per-view. I don't even know who would win that fight, but I think it would be interesting. But anyways, that's what I have to say. Let me know your thoughts. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell notifications button, and I will see you guys later.